Okay. Yeah. Put your phone down.
I was adding something to the calendar.
You know, none of it bothered me.
Oh, no. It was like cattywampus. That's
No,
a
you
word,
guys,
right?
like-
Cattywampus.
I mean, OCD is definitely a thing.
It's not even OCD. It's like legit eyes going
No,
cross-eyed.
I see why you and Rick get along so well. Dude, okay. So for those of you that don't know what's going on, we spent 7 minutes.
We did not spend 7 minutes. Rick and I problem solved that in like
Can
3
you move
minutes.
the TV over?
Not even
a
2.
little bit. Okay, not right there. Okay, come back a little bit this way. Okay, turn the table a little more. Right there. Like,
Okay, listen. There are lots of lines happening. There are the vertical lines happening here. There is this straight line where it changes color across the back. And then there's what's happening with the table and the lines here. And it was just a lot,
Look,
all different directions. They weren't playing well together.
I will
like you and I
say-
sometimes.
I will say that it is a real thing. People like
With visual taste?
well, yeah. I mean, like things like that don't bother me. Like like if something's a little off or like I don't notice it, and it doesn't like I just it's not
It eats at me.
right. And
Yeah.
I could tell Rick too. Rick's one of those people that he's like the details. However, I think it serves Rick very well in his job,
For sure.
right, in what he does. But
Yes.
Who was the only person that came in and noticed one of the lights during the special? One of the lights was crooked. It was you.
But I did notice that.
That's right.
Yep.
You were like, we paid a lot of money for this set. That light is crooked.
Yes. because I wanted the set to look perfect. And that is the time
To fix it, sure.
To make things perfect.
Was a gorgeous, beautiful
when
set.
you're spending X amount of dollars.
I wish we could have brought
That's
those lights home with us. They
I
were
know,
so
yeah,
awesome.
we didn't get to keep the lights. But I had a I don't even think I told you this, Rick. I had a development deal with David Arquette, Courtney Cox.
I forget what
and
their production company was
I forget what their
called.
production company's called. They were
already divorced at the time,
They're
right?
divorced.
But still worked together at
And then
the company.
what is the I forget her name. She played Phoebe on Friends.
Lisa Kudrow.
Lisa Kudrow's sister was the head of their production company.
Oh, I forgot
And
that tidbit.
it was so weird because she looked exactly like Lisa Kudrow. I don't know if they were twins. They might have been.
Lisa Kudrow's sister.
Looks exactly like her.
Let's see.
Anyway, my point is that when I had my development deal with that company, we would meet with David Arquette and Courtney Cox all of the time. And David told me, he goes, by the way, she's like OCD. Is that what it's called?
Holy cow, they look stupid alike. Like,
told
like
you.
twins alike.
Yes. So not only am I
Whoa.
sitting there with Courtney Cox, I'm also sitting with basically Phoebe,
Yeah,
you know, and of course David Arquette, right?
Uh-huh.
But is it called the OCD, where everything has to be perfect,
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
right?
Yes.
So I would always get there early, right? Because I'm me, and David and I would usually get there before Courtney, because at that time, Courtney was filming a show called
Cougar Town.
So she would always kind of show up a little bit late.
Ooh, that's loud.
Well, you'd walk in to their beautiful office. I forget where it was. They had a great office, but they had these ducks, and it was a mama duck and then these little ducks. So David would literally slightly move a duck, not even a lot, slightly move a duck. Then we would go somewhere else, and he would take a photograph that was on the wall, and he'd slightly move it over. I mean, almost to the point where you can't tell.
To be annoying.
And then that's when I was like, oh my God, this shit is real. Because Courtney would walk in and she'd be talking, and then she'd stop and look at the ducks and then move the duck back and then keep talking. And then me and David would die laughing. And she's like, you fuckers, y'all did that to me on purpose. Then we would go sit down at the meeting, and then all of a sudden she'd stop talking, walk over to the painting that we moved over and fix it.
Yeah.
Like everything had to be.
Well, yeah, it's like, can we fix it and make it right, and then now let's move on.
But I don't care. Like little stuff like that doesn't bother me.
It's like an interruption.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's a visual
Adrian,
interruption.
do details like that bother you?
Yes.
Tatiana, they bother you?
Absolutely.
Of course, Rick and you.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 1 out of 5 that doesn't care. Interesting.
You're the oddball out.
I am. I mean, I find that interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like moving the table one way or the other.
But now that you see it in place, do you see how this is like
No.
more visually at ease than the way it was before?
I don't. No.
No,
It doesn't.
you don't
bother me.
see it.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like I'll fuck everybody up right now.
What the
I don't give a fuck.
fuck?
No, what the actual fuck?
I will
Put it
ruin.
back.
I will ruin
it back.
everybody's day.
Put it back.
Well, I'm curious. Is that right? Did you get it right? Move it right there. No, right there.
No, get your hand off of it.
No, I am curious on the comments, like who it bothers, because it doesn't.
I mean, listen, so when you put it the way Courtney did, it's not like she's like shouting at people because they moved it. She's like, let's put it back where it goes and then let's all move on. Like, you know?
no, I mean, I will say that to completely same subject, different subject, because you said they were divorced at that time, but still worked together.
Right.
I was always so in awe of how they coexisted.
Yeah.
They both loved each other very much. They, when they would see each other, they'd hug each other. He'd give her a kiss on the cheek. She'd give him a kiss on the cheek. And that was so foreign to me. You know, my parents got a divorce, 30-something years ago. They still don't like being in the same room.
Yeah.
You know, I was in an ugly divorce of two parents that could not get along, could not co-parent, could not, right? So when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like that was weird to me.
Yeah.
But there are people out there that can get a divorce and be cordial with each other and still love each other and be in the same room. And I mean, you see it online all the time, right? Where you see stepmom, stepdad, or stepmom, mom
Yeah.
with the kid, and they put it on the back of their shirts. And I admired that. That was kind of one of the first times that I saw a couple that was divorced. And I believe they have kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And the love that they had, and they would laugh and joke around, and you could clearly see that it was a healthy thing
Yeah.
for them. You know, I don't know.
That's impressive.
It's very impressive. I don't know if me and you were to get to divorce.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking as you talk. I was like, I don't know. It might take some time and some space for us to get there.
Tatiana, can you handle? You think you would?
I think we could because me and Phil started out as best friends.
You and Phil started out as well, but does it also
I
depend
think
on?
it's the kids.
But
Like for me, that would be my
you have
motivator.
to. I
That
mean,
would be my motivator.
But we do that now for the kids.
Right.
I mean,
there's times I want to strangle you and I don't because of the kids.
Right, or we don't start screaming at each other because of the kids, right? But I would also think that maybe it's also circumstantial,
Sure.
right? Like depending on what you did to me,
For sure.
right, or what I
For
did
sure.
to you, or
It's different if there was like a betrayal versus we just have come to a point where I love you, but we can't, you know?
I think Adrian and his wife, you guys seem very mild mannered. I think you guys could co-parent.
You would think so, but let's not test it.
Let's not find out.
Think
But if you were to
so.
guess, do you think that you and your wife, if you guys were to get divorced, would be cordial to each other?
I think we would try our hardest for the kids.
I
Yes.
would like to believe. Yeah. What about you and Gigi, Rick? I mean, your in-laws live next door. You have to move out.
Oh, Rick's gone. Well, the husband always has to move out. The husband's always fucked. Like, guaranteed. The husband, like, hey, go live in a shitty apartment while you're away. And not to get crazy about this too. I also hate that about the system. A dad is just as much of a parent to a child as a mom.
Yeah.
And historically speaking, that is usually not up for debate in a divorce. Right? Normally it's automatic. Well, the kids stay with the mom.
I don't
And
know.
I think that's
Is that
bullshit.
still the case now?
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
Rick never answered us. Rick, do you think you guys could do it?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Yeah. I would. I think I'd need some time and some space.
Well, we talked about the Garth Brooks situation
Yeah.
that I thought is, I mean, what a crazy situation. Where, and I don't know if you know the story about Garth Brooks. Garth Brooks gets a divorce, marries Faith Hill. The wife, his ex-wife, never remarries.
Not Faith Hill. That's who Tim McGraw's married to. Garth Brooks is married to Trisha Yearwood.
Trisha Yearwood.
Get your blonde straight.
Marries Trisha Yearwood, and they all look the same. And just different weight. Garth Brooks marries Winona Judd. And I was trying to think of a name. I couldn't think of a name.
Her name is Trisha Yearwood.
Trisha Yearwood marries her, and then Garth's ex-wife doesn't remarried, but still lives in a house on the same ranch.
Yeah.
And she basically was like, the ex-wife says, I'm not going to remarry. Like, I'm done with that.
That's me.
But they set up the situation so that literally the kids could walk. They could have breakfast together every morning.
Yeah.
So every morning they had breakfast with their parents.
Yeah. It makes carpooling easier when you're both starting in the same location. It's a logistics thing.
I just remember Renae and I watching that documentary going, I don't know if we could do that.
I think if you're in different houses and there's enough space in between that I can pull into my driveway and not see you, and you can pull into your driveway and not see me, then I think that works.
I just...
But then it's got to be weird.
Know,
like when
dude,
she comes over to do breakfast with the kids and it's stupid early, do they both have to have on a bra? That's what it comes down to me.
I mean, I've already seen the titties. I mean, it's not like I haven't seen them. I mean, I already saw them, right?
How comfortable are we? Can we
right,
go
I
braless?
mean, but it's I just, but it's like this there's a whole group of couples that they do this swinging thing, and I'm sorry, I don't want to share my wife. Like, to me, that is intimate.
Like, I really want to have sex with you. Why would I want to have sex with someone else too?
I'm going to disappoint another wife. So I'm also going to disappoint your wife. Okay. No, I just
and everyone knows 3 is not a good number. Someone always gets left out.
There's 4, dork. Why is there only 3?
I don't know.
I mean, I like that. Let's talk about that. So, no, even that would be uncomfortable.
I walked into that. Can we change the subject?
No, I don't. I just
even talking about it makes me uncomfortable.
I don't get it. I mean, and then I guess I don't know how to explain it, but there's a lot of that going on in New Braunfels. There's a lot of that, like, the pineapple people.
The pineapple people. I really
the hot tubbers. I don't know what it's called. And the crazy
hot
part
tubbers?
is, I don't know.
Who wants to do it in a hot tub? That's like germ infested.
And it's hot. It's already hot, and I don't like being hot. No, but I mean, and then for Renae and I have been propositioned while we're taking pictures.
Yeah.
Like, Renae and I will be taking pictures, and we're being propositioned, and I'm like, is that my wife?
They're always really sweet and friendly about it.
Well, I mean, if you want to get some, you should be sweet and friendly about it. You don't be aggressive about it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm saying is that if we were to get divorced, I would have a weird feeling towards the new guy of like, that's mine, and you get to be with mine.
But not if you didn't want it anymore. Like, if we got divorced and you didn't want it anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still some of that jealousy, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Some of that. That's my wife, like, or that was my. Is it a man thing? Yeah, but would you be okay with the girl that's getting all of this now?
No, I told you, bitch is gonna have to get used to having me around. I'm gonna be at their breakfast, braless, eating her food. Say thank you for cooking me breakfast. Like,
well, I'm gonna pick. She knows that the next one's gonna cook. Renae knows that after her, I'm finding somebody that can cook and somebody that lets me have a big TV. That's who I'm finding next. She's also a lot younger.
Whatever.
I don't know. It is a weird thing to me.
Yeah. No, I
It's,
think
it's just intimate. It's just. But and
I would
there's-
be territorial over the things. Like, and not not just the things, but like, not the things. That sounds wrong. That's not what I meant to say. I would be territorial of like my children and how that is
sure.
handled. That would be
absolutely
the really, really hard part for
Which
me.
reminds me, when I was in Kansas City, having a drink after the show, I go, "Hey, I'll fight your fight." Sometimes I do that, right?
Yes.
We do like a Q&A, and I'm like, what upsets you guys, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was really interesting because this woman goes, I go, what do we fight about? She goes, well, we fight over his ex-wife. And I go, oh, what's the issue with the ex-wife?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, well, the ex-wife hates me because I let her daughter listen to music that she does not allow.
Yeah, that
then-
would be my thing is I'm like a control freak and no, this is how I want to do it with my children
Right.
or this is how I want to happen. And if that person, which they're with your kids, like
And I made it funny, but I told her, I go, I'm sorry, but she has every right to be upset with you. And she was like, what? I go, that she has set rules for her daughter, and those rules are that she can't hear this music,
right.
yet you're still allowing her to do it. I said, I would be upset if another man came in my kids' lives and I had set rules for my kids and that man broke those rules.
Right.
Right. And then the crowd like erupted in
Well, it's even like when you
clapping,
send your
right?
kid for a sleepover, right? Like I hope that the family we're sending we don't do sleepovers yet, but like I hope that the family that we're sending our child to have a sleepover has similar values or similar
but even
rules in
sleepover,
place for
like,
their children, but you don't have control over that.
Renae and I are not comfortable with the whole sleepover thing.
Garrett's not really. He'll call and want to be picked up at midnight
we
and
just
you're
pick him
gone
up,
and I have Delilah
But it just, to me, and there's a comfort level that I have with you, right? There's a comfort level that husbands and wives have that I don't know if I want to get out of that comfort level and have to perform
What do you mean?
sexually.
Oh, I was like, for a second, I was like, are you talking about sexually? You
I'm like,
didn't
wait a
say
minute,
it.
we're doing this
That's
pineapple thing,
hilarious.
and now I have to
I don't
try?
give a shit because it's you, but now I got to put forth some effort.
Yeah. Like me and my wife, we got this little thing. We don't try. It's nice. We're comfortable.
Oh my gosh, I can't even with this conversation right now.
I mean, during might be great, but then after you're just sitting there like, okay, like, what now? Like, I don't know. It's just,
I don't know. I
you know,
I don't know.
No, I'm just saying that there is a comfort level that I have with my wife.
Yes,
and
that's true.
And it is very comfortable.
Yes.
But it would also be like, almost like having to date again.
Well, it would be having to date again.
But no, what I'm saying that even that discomfort to me is I don't admire it. I don't want it. Like me and you go to dinner.
So basically, we're stuck.
We're fucking stuck. But it's a nice stuck.
It is a good stuck.
There's nothing
It's
wrong.
like what's that song I love? The Stuck Like Glue song. Who sings that? I forget what band that
there's
is.
just a wonderful comfort level that we have.
Yeah.
We had a great lunch the other day, me and you at PF Chang's.
Yeah.
And we were able to just talk about life.
Yeah.
And I think when you're dating, you have to pretend again and try to be interested and have to learn all this stuff about. I'm not into it.
Yeah.
And I feel for guys and girls that get a divorce later on in life. I also feel for the person that missed the boat. Those males or females that they didn't find that person in their 20s.
Yeah.
And then they find themselves later on in life. And if you're a 35-year-old dude, your options are dating kids
I don't know.
or dating a woman with kids.
I don't know. I'm not in that position, but I don't necessarily agree with the miss the boat thing. I think that
Well, some people aren't meant to be married.
yes.
but
Well,
that's a
and
whole
also
nother-
that people find who they're supposed to find at the place they are in their life.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I think that some people, I think when I met you, I did not want to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
But when I met you and the person that you are and the person that you were, and because what you were is different than you are now, but the person that you were,
the person you are now is different than the person you were.
I quickly realized that if this girl likes me because I like her, I have to seize this opportunity because this girl is beautiful and smart and classy and all the things I do want. I have to see that and go, I'm not going to fuck this up.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that when I say miss the boat, I would assume that through those people's lives, there were those people and they were like, well, I'm not ready for it now, so I'm going to wait. And then you wake up one day and you go, fuck, man, that person that was in my life.
Right. The one that got away.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, and not everybody's meant to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody's meant to be married. Not everybody's meant to have kids. I'm just talking about those specific people that look back and now they're creeping up on 40 and go, I do want somebody. And then now you have to be stepdad. Or I do want somebody. Now I have to date a girl in her 20s. And that's not comfortable either.
Yeah.
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Rick, imagine having to date again.
It would be the worst. First of all, like you said, you're comfortable, but also like, gotta go buy new clothes and stuff. What are we talking about here?
Right. We gotta buy new clothes. We gotta. I mean,
You gotta pretend like you care.
yeah, you gotta know the hip new words. I mean, and then everybody's dating online. I never dated online.
I was gonna say that's
I
what's
don't-
like a different ball game. Is we were pre-online dating, and now it is like that's how people meet. That's how people meet their significant
most
other.
people- I wonder what is the somebody look up. What are the odds of people who meet online now and get married?
Well, what I wonder is like, is online dating, is it at like a city thing versus a rural thing? Does like your
No, they got farmers only.
Why?
They got farmers only.
Is your
1 in 3. 1 in 3 marriages.
I'm seeing one here that says 14%.
14%
Rick
of
is seeing 14%.
Wait, what's the fact that we're looking up? What's the statistic?
How many people are meeting online and getting married? It's 1 in 3 or 14%.
Well, that's a drastic difference, 1 in 3 versus 14%. So
I wouldn't know.
We got to figure out what's right.
American adults that found 39% of heterosexual couples reported meeting their partner online compared to 22% in 2009.
So it's up to 39%
Met
according
their
to Tatiana.
partner.
Met
That
their
doesn't
partner,
necessarily mean
Partner.
ended up married,
Right.
right?
Well, your partners are married,
Yeah.
right?
No, you could be someone's partner and not be married.
I
Your
couldn't
domestic partners.
I couldn't even imagine like
condom
having to
off.
set up an online profile. Like, I mean, I like it's so
Yours would
fun.
have punctuation and typos out the
All kinds of shit.
wazoo.
My mom would be like, bitch, do you like to laugh? But even then, like, I forget, there was a story about a celebrity that was like, F it, I'm going to do online dating.
Well, now there's even
And then people
like
didn't even believe
that it was them.
that it was them.
Well,
So they
because now
couldn't even
there's
get a
like
date.
different private like clubhouse, sites, and there's some that are like networking / dating.
I
Like
want to
now
meet a
it's
millionaire. Like there's sites where only millionaires
Sugar
are on.
daddies.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I love our comfort level. I love the way we fight.
yeah.
I love, everything. I mean, we have our thing.
I don't know if I love the way we fight, but
Well, we're getting better. But I just love us and it's comfortable. And it is scary to have to get to even think about getting back out there.
I don't want to make an online profile. That sounds awful.
It'd be insane.
That sounds awful.
It would be absolutely crazy. And I mean, obviously we're not getting a divorce, and then having to go through a divorce.
Yeah.
Like I have friends that literally had no problems in their marriage.
Uh-huh.
And then one day she's like, here, I'm filing. And he was like, What?
See, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I don't think you go from like no problems to being served with divorce papers. I think that means he was fucking clueless is what that means.
No, I mean, in this
I don't
situation,
know who you're talking about, so I'm not speaking about anyone in particular. But I just like, how can you?
Yeah, but
how can you?
But
not?
you don't think that there are women, and I do believe this. You don't think there are women or men that get married and go, "I'm not supposed to be married," right? Like,
Oh.
like I did it because, well, you're supposed to do those things,
Right.
and
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so, but
and
then
even
if
with
you-
kids,
but
I
even
think people have
then-
kids and go, "Oh shit, I'm not a good parent, and I don't want to be a parent." And
Yeah.
here I am now.
yeah,
And I mean, I have friends that they're like, my parents really didn't even raise us because
yeah.
they just kept doing their thing.
But still,
you know?
then I think it's a discussion. It's not just I'm serving you with papers out of the blue because I decided I'm not meant to be married anymore. We would have conversations. There would be hints. You would know that's coming.
I don't know. I mean, I think in some cases, of course.
Yeah.
But I think some people wake up one day and go, I don't want to do this. This is not. And then maybe they're cordial and they're friends.
Gosh, I guess
where they're just the couple, they're friends, and it's not, and it is it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the fact that we don't have a good relationship. I'm not meant to be married, and I want to go do my own thing.
Well, you and I took 7 years to get married, so I guess
Yes.
I had a long time to like make up my mind.
Well, I
and
kept
decide
waiting
this
for
is
you to
what I
learn how to
wanted, so that-
cook, and after a few years, I'm like, well, shit, I
maybe
guess
after
this ain't
7
happening.
years, I would learn how to make tamales. No, not happening.
But I don't know. I do think that there are people who are not meant to be married, and there's people that are not meant to have kids, and
Sure,
you don't know that until you're
Until
in
you've
it.
done it. Yeah, I guess so.
And that's the other thing too. When you've been living on your own and past 35, and then you meet somebody else that's been living on their own past 35,
It's a big adjustment.
that's got to be hard to learn how to live with somebody else.
Well, but we had kids later in life, and that's a huge adjustment too. And you make that adjustment because you love that person.
You hope.
Because we love our babies,
You hope.
you know?
But it's hard.
Oh, it's for sure hard.
You know, me and you have created systems together
Right.
because we've lived together for a long time. We've moved in. I mean, we know when we buy a house and move in it,
Uh-huh.
who does what. Like, we're like a freaking machine, right?
Because we moved so many
We move so many times. We have a system. We have a thing. I'm the trash man. You're the bag lady. Like,
Yeah.
all that has been established over years.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And you get used to that rhythm.
Yes.
And I would
Yes.
think that you have a rhythm on your own and you're kind of stuck in your ways to meet somebody else that has a rhythm of their own, stuck in their ways. And then, and what's even scarier
Uh-oh.
is when you don't get a divorce
Uh-huh.
and a spouse passes.
What do you mean when you don't get a divorce and a spouse passes?
Where you find yourself single.
Like you should have gotten a divorce?
No, because you find yourself single because your spouse died.
Oh, I understand. When you were happily married and you become a widow.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's something that, like, holy crap, right? Like,
Yeah.
I honestly would have to move houses.
Yeah.
I don't think I could even live in the same home and
Yeah.
move on
I think I might too. Yeah.
living in the same home.
Yeah.
And you meet people. Gosh, one of our huge supporters came to my show at the barbecue cook-off, lost his daughter at 27 years old. She was 27 years old. And then I literally had nothing to say.
I know.
I was completely clueless as to
that he had been through that experience.
What do you
I
say?
didn't either.
But
It's
again,
so funny you brought him up because he has been on my brain the last few days. Him and his wife.
swingers, are we doing it?
No, like that. But just he's been on my brain the last few weeks. I'm so inspired by him. Like that he.
Oh, both him and his wife.
But yes, that they lost an incredible amount of weight and got healthy is inspiring on its own. But the fact that he faced such a traumatic loss and found a way to like get up and keep going and be healthy. I'm so impressed.
It either inspires you and you go off to do better, or it just destroys you, right? There's no in between.
Yeah.
Take my cousin, for example, and I don't want to name any names. His wife passed from cancer. And before she passed, because he was extremely overweight, she goes, "You're it for them."
Yeah.
And that inspired him to get healthy.
Yeah.
And to get, because he went, "Oh crap, I am it for our kids." And they already lost their mom. I got to get it together.
Yeah.
Right. But again, like, how do you, I don't know. I mean, I admire people who have been able to pick themselves up after losing a spouse and getting their life back. And you want to share your life, right? You want to be with somebody else. I'll tell you right now on this podcast, if I pass before you, go get some dick, girl. Go get it. Go find somebody else.
No, I don't know. I've said it before on the podcast. Like, I feel like I am all in on this marriage, and I am giving it my all, and will continue to give it my all.
If that's your all, we need to
shut
work.
your mouth. Shut your
all.
mouth. But if this one doesn't work, I don't think I want to do it again.
Oh yeah. Rick,
Like, I don't want to do it with someone else.
Rick, how about you?
I would never do this again. You get too comfortable in figuring this out with someone else. Oh my Lord.
That's what blows my mind when you see like these TV shows about, oh, this guy had a wife and a girlfriend. And I'm like, what kind of fucking energy do you have? You know what I mean? Like, this marriage is hard. It's not easy. You have to work at it.
Yeah.
But to have that and a girlfriend, you're a glutton for punishment. Like,
masochist.
yes, but no, I'm with you, Rick. Like, I don't know if I would be able to move on.
Oh, you always tell me you're going to trade me in for a younger model.
Oh, baby, that's just me talking shit. You know, I love you today more than I did yesterday.
I know.
And you're more beautiful today than you were yesterday. And you know, I don't know. I don't know. I know that I would probably quit comedy.
Oh, I don't think you could do that.
I would probably quit comedy. I don't know if I would be able to walk on stage after that.
You would have to.
I don't know if I could. I'll be honest with you. I don't. The more like we start talking about it, I'm like, I think that's it for me. I think we started GoFundMe for Steve Trevino because I can't go make more money anymore. I'm done. I got to pay these bills. I got these
You'd be fine if you didn't have me.
I know, no more jokes.
No, I said you would be fine if you didn't have me spending all your money.
Well, that too. I'd probably be way under budget. I wouldn't buy coats that have holes in them.
I got lots of compliments.
Purely
on my
for
jacket
design.
today.
Purely.
No, it's not. It keeps me warm.
Because Rick, how many years are you and Gigi in?
We've been together, married. Oh, you're putting me on the spot. We've been together like since we're 21 years, but married 15.
So did you have a
badass.
similar experience where you met Gigi and you were like, I can't fuck this up? Or it just all kind of, because a lot of people, you just end up together and then you're like, oh, I guess we should get married.
No,
Is that what happens to a lot of people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, Steve. To me, I every day I was nervous because she's like smart and stuff, and
way out of your league,
way out of my league. Everything that you guys have. No offense, Steve. By the way,
no, none taken. I know I'm a below average man with an above average woman. I'm aware.
But yeah, it's one of those things where like, especially when you meet at such a young age, we were in our 20s, and so you go through all the changes. So now, like, what am I going to change to? You guys change together, especially with you two. Like, Steve, when you and I met, you were nowhere near where you are now. So
right.
like you guys went through those changes together. So for someone to come in after all those changes, I think that'd be too hard.
But yes, and we've talked about this before, where I told Renae, our dynamic would be much different if I was this guy already and then met her. Your dynamic, your the way that me and you built this together
We've grown and changed together.
Together, we've earned money together. We've come into money together. You know, if I already had all of this and some girl came in, I'd be like, listen, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
Because I run shit around here.
Yeah.
And it'd just be a different dynamic.
Yeah.
You know,
sure.
so you definitely build a dynamic.
Which might be a lot easier for you.
Oh my God. It would be a lot easier. I don't even want to bring up the comments from last episode.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't want you to.
I didn't read them all, but
don't.
basically, I should let you have the TV. I think was.
Yes,
is that the gist
consensus
of it?
was
Yes.
let the poor man have a fucking TV.
You have one at the barn.
That's where we get kicked out to, the barn.
Oh,
I don't want to get into it.
Gosh. Okay, moving along.
If anybody else has anything on that topic, by the way, Miss Laura. Oh, go ahead, Rick.
Kind of on this topic, but going back to like where you are now, when we went out to breakfast a while back and you got stopped, and then we went to like Target or something just to quickly go in, and you get stopped by so many people. Renae, how does that affect you if you guys go out to dinner and it's not just your time now? Fans come up and ask for pictures and stuff. What's your kind of take on that?
One, we don't go out that much.
We don't go out as much anymore. We went to dinner Friday. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
We went to dinner on Friday, and they brought us our appetizer, and the guy goes, "Hi, Mr. Trevino," and then skirted off. So all the staff, all of a sudden, you look at the staff and people there, and they just have this big grin while they look at me, and it's just, I appreciate it, but it's uncomfortable. I am super gracious to anybody who comes to talk to me.
Yeah,
and I think that's also an issue.
But Renae, does it, I don't want to say bother, because it never bothered you, but
yeah.
Renae, does it, go ahead.
We don't, like we said, we don't go out as much anymore, so it's not like it's happening all the time. So when it does happen, I think I'm good with it. I think it probably makes you more uncomfortable than it makes me uncomfortable. What makes me uncomfortable is when I'm with the kids, and not. Sometimes it's just like a comfort level thing, especially if I'm by myself without you, you know. But then it's also like having to like explain to my kids like why that's happening. Garrett's older, but I don't want to have to explain to my kids why that's happening. I just want to be mom.
Yeah, I mean, Garrett's at the point where he's like, ugh. You know, like like the other day we went into H-E-B, and right away somebody came up to talk to me, and Garrett just goes, and even the guy talking to me was like, "I'm sorry, I won't keep you long," which was kind of nice that Garrett kind of gave him the. I didn't have to give him the.
But at the same time,
Garrett did, right? But
we're having to have conversations with our kid about how he has to behave when people come up to him, and that's fine. Like that's his world. There's nothing wrong with teaching your child they need to behave and be gracious. Like,
but it's also bleeding into.
It's just that part is weird. Navigating that is weird.
Also bleeding into our relationships here in town, like our friends, where you know they're meeting us at a time where we're uber successful.
Yeah.
So they don't quite understand or know the struggles, what we've been through,
or why we might behave or act the way we do. Yeah.
You know, so, you know, there's little comments amongst friends that sometimes make me uncomfortable, you know, where I'm like, I almost to where like, oh, well, Steve and Renae just got it great. They got it good. And it's like, yes, we do. 1,000% we got it good. And we're very blessed. However, we deserve it. And we earned it. And we worked our freaking asses off and took steps back because we didn't know if I was going to continue to succeed, you know, where financially we were trying to be super smart, and people just don't know the struggle.
Journey. Yeah.
They come to our home where we live now and they go, of course, Steve has this, but they don't realize that literally the studio that we're in right now was the size of our apartment when we were trying to save money to get married.
Yeah.
They don't know that I
look
drove.
around and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't know that I drove a 1978 K5 Blazer so that we could save money for our wedding.
And also part of that is like when we moved from California, from LA back to Texas, and where you were in your career, it's a completely different set of friends. Like that's why I really value my
We had to make
girlfriends
new
from
friends.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah,
really
we had to
value
make,
my girlfriends from when I lived in
new
LA.
Friends and you know, we try to be super generous, but that's a double-edged sword. And the reason it's a double-edged sword is because we go, oh, we have all these blessings. For example, we're gonna sponsor our baseball team. Then all of a sudden it turns into, you know, either you have the people that go, oh wow, that was very gracious of Steve and Renae, and we appreciate them, which is most people.
Yeah.
But then you have some people that go, of course he's playing shortstop because mom and daddy are celebrities and they sponsored the team. And it's like, I don't want that to bleed over into my son.
Yeah.
You know, when that's never the case.
Right.
And we make our kids earn everything.
Right.
And be respectful. But
someone advised us to just be really private with our generosity, you know, like, yes, be generous and continue to share your blessings, but also be very private about it. But that's a lesson we've had to learn, right? So that we don't face that double-edged sword. I don't know.
Renae and I have just made the approach of we are who we are. We're very open. We're very generous. We're going to continue to not change anything, you know, and if people have a problem with it, then they can have a problem with it.
Yeah.
You know, if people don't like us because they think that we're snobby or playing the celebrity, well, that's on them.
Yeah.
Because Renae and I, we live our lives very open and we always open the door to our home to anybody and everybody.
Yeah. I was going to say that, Rick, I mean, I know that was like a long-winded way to answer your question, but the people coming up to us out in public, I think, is not hard to handle. It's the private stuff, the more personal stuff with your kids and with your personal friendships and things like that. That's the part that's trickier and harder.
But I worry about Garrett too, right? I mean, you know, I was coaching football and one of the kids, I'm standing next to him coaching him, and he goes, I saw you on TV. My parents told me you're famous. And I'm like, yeah. And I don't mind that. However, I don't want that to later on become an issue for Garrett.
Right.
Right, where his friends are like, oh, there's Garrett, the spoiled celebrity kid. That's my fear. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but I will say that the when people say I did not change, people changed around me.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy is that I literally I don't think I've changed much at all. I don't dress different. I don't think I've changed much at all.
Yeah.
But people treat me different. And Rick,
I see that.
That's a hard part too, where people change and then they think it's me. And it's like, no, your perspective and the way you look at me has changed versus me changing. That is a big frustration for me because I really haven't changed. I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Renae gets mad at me. I'm out there chatting with, the guy that picks up our trash is a friend. I chat with him. I invited him to the show, gave him free tickets to my special taping.
Yeah.
We had him at the VIP party. He is no different than anybody else that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
I'm just friends with whoever.
Yeah.
And it's just, Rick, it is a weird thing. For sure a weird thing.
Yeah, when we were out, what was weird for me was what you said later to the principal about how people come up to you and how they look. It's not like, it's almost like you're in a petting zoo and they just come up with this like stare of like, hey, here's a camera, we have to take a picture. And you've always been, at least as I've seen, really gracious and you'll stop and take photos and stuff. But it was weird because there were certain people that came up like a human being and then others as if you were just like a pet, you know?
Yeah, but I also, it really blows my mind that people have truly gotten starstruck around me.
Yeah.
And where they're shaking or they just start crying. I just hug them because I'm like, I don't know how to feel about you feeling about me this way.
Yeah.
You know, and I also think about the small, tiny bit of fame that I have when you're a Michael Jackson or a Tom Cruise or somebody where people are like, if they lose their shit with me,
Yeah.
I can't imagine how they must feel every day.
Yeah.
Right? Where I walk into a restaurant with you on Friday, 30% of the people knew who I was. The other 70% didn't. I couldn't imagine walking in there where 100% of the people know who I am.
Yeah.
Right? And that is one of the reasons that Renae and I we just don't go out. We don't go to the grocery store. We don't, we would go to the grocery store and then Renae would wait in the car or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to zip in and pick up a rotisserie chicken. And then an hour later, Renae's texting me going, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm talking to 13 people
Yeah.
here at HEB before I can walk out of here.
Yeah. I'll be like, are we having guests over this weekend? You need to tell me so that I have time to order the groceries so that we can curbside pick up them, or at least like let me know where I have enough time to order for delivery. Like,
But it is special and I do appreciate it. And anybody listening to this podcast, I do want to shake your hand.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that I'd rather have you come up to me, shake my hand, give me a hug, take a picture together than have you stare at me.
Yeah.
That for me is the most uncomfortable. You know, I was walking to the restroom at that restaurant and then I literally hear, it is him. Like as I'm walking by, oh my God, it is him. And instead of it is him, oh my God, Mr. Trevino, big fan. That would make me feel so much more comfortable than it is him. Like that's what makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'd much rather you go, oh my God, I love your comedy. Hi, can I get a picture later? Absolutely. Right?
Yeah.
That to me is way more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, and then I walked out of the restaurant and that server followed me out. And we had this awkward conversation. Instead of him going, oh, before you leave, can I snap a pic? Yeah, no problem. Snap the pic, and then we move on.
Yeah.
Instead, we're having this awkward conversation, and he's got his phone in his hand, and I finally go, hey, man, I want to take a pic? And he was like, oh, yeah, are you okay with that? I'd much rather have we started with that. Hey, before you leave, can I grab a quick pic? Boom, quick pic. Man, thank you. Love you. Out with my wife, trying to get laid.
Steve, what would you do if you saw Kevin Costner in a restaurant?
Ooh.
I would love to talk to Kevin Costner, but I would leave him alone.
You would?
I would not go over to him. I was actually sitting right next to him. The problem is with Kevin Costner, I don't have anything to say to him, but I'm a fan. That's it.
There is no like mutual connection
There's
or
no
reason
mutual
to talk
connection.
to him.
There's
Okay.
no, you know. Now, I'm at the Spurs game, right? Sitting in the prestige seats, which is something we're going to talk about later on this podcast. We have seats on the floor, right, with Ben.
Yeah.
We're on the floor. They're playing the Dallas Mavericks. Literally 2 seats down is Mark Cuban. Well, Mark Cuban came into the Addison Improv when I was working the door with Michael Finley.
I don't know who that is.
Michael Finley at the time was playing for the Dallas Mavs.
Okay.
And Michael and his table, along with Mark Cuban, ran this huge tab. And I was the waiter. Well, Michael insisted on paying. He didn't tip us. 0 tip. And it was several $1,000s.
Yeah.
And Mark Cuban goes, did he tip you? He pulled me aside. He goes, did he tip you? And I said, no, sir. And he goes, let me see the tab. So I showed him the tab, and Mark pulled out money and tipped me cash. Right? And I always really appreciated, and at that moment, I really needed that money.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about, they took over 4 of my tables. I only had 5 tables. Like I wasn't going to make any money.
Yeah.
And yet, not only that, this table was doing premium drinks and bottles. And I mean, it was a big tab that I worked my ass off for. And I was about to not get tipped. And Mark Cuban tipped me. So I went up to Mark and I said, Mark, I just want to tell you, I'm a comedian now, and I don't know if I would have made it if you didn't tip me that day. And he goes, what are you talking about? I go, Michael Finley. He goes, that guy, I always had to tip for him.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, man, nice to meet you. He goes, you're sitting next to me. Can I have some of that money back? And I go, no. But that's the other thing. Everybody's watching. Like Michael Finley, you're Michael Finley.
Yeah.
You didn't tip. You don't think people are going to freaking, I'm an over tipper.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever want people to go, that cheap motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
And that's the problem too. If I tip the proper amount, which is 20%,
Yeah.
then I'm just an average dude. And well, Steve didn't even tip me that much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I have to tip over for them to go, oh man, he took care of me.
Yeah.
That's it's just crazy. I thought it was going to be more fun.
It is.
It's fun, but there is a lot of,
the hotel rooms are nicer.
Yes. There is a lot of things that come with it.
Yeah.
For sure. Aztec Chevrolet.
Yes.
Big fans of them.
Yes. I am loving my new car.
Yep. Miss Lori is working for Amplified Creative Studios, which is our social media company. If you are in and around New Braunfels and you need social media services, not only do we create your content, we also help you manage your socials. It is the same company, new company that has been handling mine for years.
Yeah.
Lori has come over to this company, and we have Tatiana now. It's her second day. She joined us. She wanted a new car, and Aztec is making it easy.
Yeah.
They're going to deliver it. They're taking care of everything. Aztec Chevrolet in Beeville, Aztec Ford in Goliad, and then Uvalde Chevy in Uvalde, Texas. Please give them an opportunity. You will never buy a car with more friendly faces than this place. Old Salt Coffee.
Yes.
They take care of us. Trevino 10 is the code. Pick Cherries. Rebecca Creek. They did a huge solid for us. We did the barbecue cook-off on Saturday where we did a private show specifically to raise money for
we didn't talk
Helicopters
about
for
that
Heroes.
today. It was
We didn't
so
talk about it
nice.
at all. Rebecca Creek, those guys just keep giving and supporting our brand.
Yeah.
Because they're like, Steve, we love what you represent. We love what you're doing. We want to be a part of everything Steve Trevino. So they donated all the vodka, all the whiskey. So we had Enchanted Rock vodka. We had flavored whiskeys, the Texas Ranger whiskey. I mean, those guys.
Someone told me they had no idea Enchanted Rock made all those different flavors of vodka. They came over to the house because they hooked me up with like 2 bottles of each flavor. So we've got them all there at the house, taste testing everything.
Great. And then, of course, Pick Cherries. Am I forgetting anybody?
I don't think so.
Rao Western Wear. New styles out. Support Renae and I, please. We're very proud of it. Rick, we love you. And you're taking Renae to go do the sound.
I thought you weren't going to want to talk about it. Yes, we're going to Dallas to sound mix the special. It's getting very, very close.
Yes, and I do want to say this on the podcast. Those of you that bought tickets for my Houston show, I sincerely apologize. We are moving that show for a couple of reasons. One, we do not want to compete with the rodeo. Houston Rodeo brings in the biggest acts in the world. We don't want to compete against them, number one. Number two, I am doing something very, very special to promote my show, my special, and to really elevate my career. So due to scheduling conflicts to make this happen, we unfortunately had to cancel and reschedule.
If people already bought tickets, their tickets have been
over.
automatically transferred to the new date if you already had them.
And for those of you that have to cancel and can't do the new date, I happen to know, because people have reached out, that you're still having to pay the fees. Please email me. I will find a way to make it right. I will send you a personal video. We will send you merch. We hate when that happens. So please reach out. We will take care of you. I am Steve Trevino. This is my beautiful forever wife.
And not a swinger.
And we're not swingers. Stop trying to fuck us. All right. We'll see you guys next time on that note.